What's up everyone, this is Myth here and welcome back to another Summoner's War video. So as you can see, this video is going to be a little bit different compared to my other videos as we're not actually going into the game. So this video will have the PowerPoint slide open here. So basically everyone I think already know that this coming Saturday is going to be the monthly free rune removal day. So there's going to be a lot of changes for everyone during that day, both PvE and PvP wise. So in this a few days opportunity, this few days gap, I think it's good for me to share some of my thoughts and experience from a higher level arena and just give you guys some insights on how to build a competitive arena defense. So by competitive, I mean at least Conquer 1-ish level, or maybe Conquer 2. If you are not around the Conquer 1 Fighter 3 border, if you Fighter 1, Fighter 2, I think it's basically better for you to keep farming the runes, farm Giants, Necro, Dragon, keep farming, and try to do at least R4 level of raid to get some grindstones. Once your runes become good enough, and also as you get more knowledge playing this game, gradually you will transition from Fighter to Conquer very smoothly, especially if you watch my video. So that's that. We'll just get into these slides. So basically, the first, what makes up a proper arena defense? I have some lists here. You don't have to cover everything in here, but just try maybe fit as many as you can into your own defense. So obviously, firstly, you want some sort of damage, maybe a single target damage or even AoE damage. It's better for them, in my opinion, if two kinds of utility damage dealer are the best. Number one being if you have a built-in armor break or something like a Winged Monkey King or those annoying pandas, they have the armor break, is very scary. Or the second, or even Tiamat. Tiamat has the armor break and it's very random as well, so it's very scary. The second utility damage dealer is the sword that you can reset people's skill. It's very rare, very hard to obtain, but they're very strong. So things like Zarus or the Fairy King, water, fire, Fairy King, Wind Fairy King. So damage dealer, number two healer. Healer with utility like Jasun. She not only heal, but she also has the attack buff for everyone in your team. She can also balance, not even balance, but pretty much make everyone's HP full through a heal block, which is very strong. Plus, she just seems to violent proc so much, and that annoying glance on your water damage dealer, especially Tiamat, is very deadly. Something like Chloe, she not only heals but provides immunity for everyone. Something like Praha, she not only heals but she's also an area removal stripper. Very strong utility healers. Third dot point, immunity plus cleanse. So we already mentioned Chloe or maybe a Delphoy. Delphoy is very good because she cleanses plus she gives you immunity plus heals in one skill. Very strong. Then you have even a Baramos who cleans every turn with a passive, very strong. Fourth dot point being some sort of crowd control, so maybe sleep or stun. Baramos second skill or Despair runes. Despair runes are very good for arena defenses. And armor break, building armor break is the best when it's random. That's the scariest because you don't know who is he gonna hit and you can't prepare for that. So something like a Orion or Orion is pretty much the scariest unit out there, and or even a light or dark armor breaker, because it can be random if you don't have the specific light dark tank or something with a AoE armor break like Beast Monk. It's just so scary. Speed, okay. Speed, not necessarily speed buff. Just make everyone speedy. That's if you're not running a Chloe. If you run a Chloe, maybe you want to make everyone slower, just not to waste your immunity and invincibility. But generally, if you're not running as Chloe, make everyone fast. So a faster nuker, faster CC, faster stripper is more scary to face than those slower ones. Basically, you want to gain your turn first before your opponent moves. Okay, so next buffs, debuffs. So armor buff, attack buff, armor debuff, attack debuff, glancing debuff, heal block, things like that. Buff removal, aka stripper. So there's so many strippers out there, like the half hero, Gemini, and things like Aquila, Soha, if you're lucky, Praha, Juno, Chiwu, Triton, things like that. And lastly, star options. Star options, tanks with some sort of damage or low damage like Beast Monks or Pandas, or pure store like Rena, Archangel, things like that. So these are, I think I covered every point what you need to make a successful AD, but you don't need to have everything in your defense. It's really hard to cover everything, but just try to get as many as you can. So that's just to give you guys an idea. So in the next few pages, I'm provided a few example of the kind of arena defense that's work really well from Conquer-ish level to even Guardian 2, Guardian 3. So firstly being the very common one, which is the speedy comps, especially in Guardian. A lot of people running Pisamoth. Everyone's saying Pisamoth is very OP and everyone's trying to get him nerfed, but I mean, if there's a will, there's a way. You can have teams just to be made specifically to speed clear those Pisamoth comps. I will showcase my own team in probably the next video, just to show you guys how I deal with this sort of speedy comps. But of course, these comps are very scary if your opponent doesn't have the units or doesn't have the speed to match you. So basically, how to build this comp: 4 units. First unit, you want a 19%, 24%, or 33% speed leader. Obviously, the higher the percentage, the better. So the options here, you have Tyrone. Tyrone is very good, kind of like a free to play monster, especially if you're at a Conquer 1, Conquer 2 level. You pretty much you should have Tyrone. He, I don't know if it's a she. I think it's a he. He has 90% speed lead, not very great, but he has that built-in CC, freeze, plus another AoE. If you build him on Despair, can be very annoying. Obviously, Beretta is 24%, Shimte 24%. Actually, Beretta might be 19%, I'm not very sure. Izaria, which is the water succubus, 24% in arena, very strong. Gemini went over that, so basically most people should have one now. He is very strong because he's not only a speed leader, he is also a stripper himself. Plus, you build him Despair, he can be very annoying. A lot of stuns for your opponent to deal with. Okay, so move on to Faye, which is the dark Kung Fu girl. She packs a punch, so her third skill has chances to ignore defense, plus the 24% speed lead. She's very strong, and also if you're very lucky, you'll have Chiwu, Sierra, even Vanessa, Pisamoth, Pontos, or Trinity. So that's pretty much you. Firstly, you need a speed leader on your team. Second unit you want is a tech bar buffer. So most common people run Bernard and Orion, and sometimes people run Kabila because Kabila is the fastest base speed attack bar buffer mob in the whole game. And also the Draco, Frigate, which is a Dark Pirate, and Tiana, etc. So basically, in my opinion, attack bar buffer Orion is the best. Why? Because he is very random with his armor break and stun, so he can be very scary to face with if he stuns or if he armor breaks the opponent's main nuker. And people sometimes argue the Dark Pirate Frigate has 50% attack bar boost for everyone, and it's much more efficient, much better than Bernard's 30%, which is not true because apart from the 30% attack bar buff, Bernard also provides a speed buff for everyone, and the speed buff work as a tick every turn, I think it takes around 8% of everyone's attack bar. I'm not sure if it's 8%, but at least here's basically with Bernard, your rest of your team needs to be within 75% of his speed to be in sync, to follow up, to not get cut. And also with Frigate is 71%, so it's only a 4% differences, which is not much. Plus Bernard has faster base speed, so that has to be taken into account as well. Plus his speed buff is very good if you run speed based nuker like Tiomas. Okay, so and Kabila, a lot of people like Kabila because simply he is the fastest base speed attack bar buffer in the game. But the thing with Kabila is your rest of the team needs to be very well runed to be speed tuned with him and not get caught. So with Kabila and Orion, they need 83%. But obviously Orion being lower speed, which requires less speed on everyone else. Okay, so third unit, which is ideally a stripper, so AoE buff remover. You have Soha, Aquila, Jimny, Chiwu, Tiana, Juno, Praha, Triton, etc. So a lot of options out there. I don't think there's a Night 3 stripper being AoE, but the obviously, as I mentioned, most people should have Gemini by now. Gemini plus Orion is very, very strong, or even Gemini plus Frigate. You can't really run Gemini with a Bernard because Gemini's passive. If you haven't looked at Gemini's passive, go into the game and look yourself. Okay, the fourth unit, there are different options here. So you can bring an AoE CC, AoE attack bar reduce, which is very strong, can give you a lot of turns, a lot more turns. So with AoE attack bar reduce mobs, things like Water Sea Emperor and Okugos, the fire and wind one, they not only attack bar reduce, but they also give you put glance, dots on opponents, plus if they're on despair with a chance to stun, very, very strong. Obviously LE damage dealer and some single target nuker, preferably with built-in armor breaks. And more attack bar buffer, things like Vertihell, which is very good to link up all your units in the not just after the first round, and also maybe even a Bella with attack buff heal when you're low. So this kind of speed comps are very, very scary if you don't have the units. As I mentioned, you can easily get outspeed, and especially during rush hour, people run certain cleave Lucian teams to try to speed kill everything. But the problem with those kind of cleave and Lucian teams, sometimes they can't afford to run a speed leader, especially if they don't have very, very good runes on their Lucians or nukers. Because if you run a speed leader, you might have to sacrifice the attack bar buffer, or you might have to sacrifice 2 nukers and you can only use 1 nuker. So this kind of comps can be very, very efficient, very scary, and but the problem with this is if you have the unit, if you have very, very good bruisers, something like Camilla, Perna, Rakan, Pandas, if you have Beast Monks, just put 4 bruisers out there, press auto, you kill this kind of speed comps in 45 seconds to 1 minute. But you have to have this kind of bruisers, okay? But generally this is very strong throughout the game, and a lot more people, especially with Pisamuth, is start running Pisamuth Orion comps in Guardian 2, Guardian 3 levels, and a lot of people who really doesn't have Guardian level of runes, just by running this kind of defense, they scare people away from attacking them during rush hour, and they can actually hold Guardian level in arena, which I don't know, which I don't really like. And so in my next video, I'm going to discuss specific comps just to speed kill this kind of Pisamuth Orion stripper comps. Okay, so second example I'm going to provide is if you're very lucky and you have pulled one of these net 5s I listed here, plus you have Teal, which I think most Conquer 1, Conquer 2, or even Fighter 3 people already have. then you have the option to run your Lucky Net 5 plus Teal with 2 supports, which is very, very common throughout Conquer Arena and very effective and scary. So basically, I only list 2 water units here. The reason being, Teal is water, and if you bring double water, you can easily get double Lucian, or even a single Lucian can kill you. So the water units here being Camilla and Water Panda, very tanky, and that's the only 2 water units I'm going to mention. Fire obviously is the best choice because it's kind of the counter to Lucian. So you have Perna, Rakan, even Laika. He recently got buffed, built him a bit tanky. His passive is very good, stun people who attack him, and also it's a built-in revenge as well. Fire Monkey King, built-in tanky as well. Kumar, very, very strong, all the Beast Monks. And the Wing unit is Sierra, Wing Monkey King, Ritash, and the Wing Panda. So basically, with this sort of comes, you want your Teal to move before your other Net 5 or your other threat, because Teal's random armor break. Okay? But if your Knight 5, like if you have a Ritash and he's very fast, he AoE and armor breaks everyone, then obviously you can make him speedy, even faster than Teal, and then Teal move to clean up. And you can run the 2 supports in a few different ways. Basically, Stripper plus Orion, very, very popular, because especially if your speed in sync, your Stripper moves, your Orion moves, then Stripper takes everyone's will rune off, your Teal or Ritash or whatever armor breaks everyone, and your other nuker just clean someone up in the first round. And then from the second round, it's 4v3, and you very likely is going to win that fight. So if you don't have a very, very good Stripper, or if you don't think you're not confident with your Orion or Bernard's speed, you think people will simply outspeed you, you can just bring some sort of stalling comp, bring a Reviver, because Teal is very squishy, bring some sort of immunity, bring a Chasun so she can Fallen Blossom Teal, and bring some sort of HP percentage leader and AoE CC like Veramos. So this kind of comp is very, very common and very effective. If you are lucky to pull one of these monsters here, then give this comp a try. And also, most people, when they run this sort of comps, the 4 units they run have the best runes. They pretty much run these 4 units in every content of the game, being Raid, being Dragon, Giants, Necro. They always run this units, so they always have the best runes. So it's very efficient to just transition them into your arena defense. Okay, so the third example I'm going to give out here is a pure stall defense. It works really well, especially during rush hour, especially in high arena, when people just want to speed clear everything and don't want to waste their time on this sort of annoying defenses. So basically, it can be a combination of Rina, Fedora being the water Death Knight. He's got that AoE immunity plus Endure buff. And Camilla, Tank Camilla, which is the best. In this case, Ariel, the Water Archangel, Praha Brand, Chasun, Eladriel, Iona, Wadam, Molly, Beta, or some kind of bruises. And in this sort of comps, you want a HP and resistance on your main stats. Praha is very good. If everyone has like 50% resistance and you put Praha lead, pretty much everyone's gonna have 100% resistance, and it's very, very good against bombers. And or if you don't have Praha, put a HP lead 33%, like a Veramos or even a Water Panda, Wind Monkey King, things like that. But one downside for this solo team is it usually lacks offensive threat, it lacks kill threat, and in today's arena, today's meta, in the top arena, a lot of speed teams out there, people are not confident to beat those teams because they're not confident with their speed, so they turn their attention to this sort of stall team because they know these teams are not going to kill them, and it's a guaranteed win, and they just need to take a little bit of time. So if you run a solo store team, you will get hit more and more often in higher level arena. Okay, so now I'm going to give you guys some gimmicky and very fun units. So first one being Freya, the Fire Sylphid. So with Freya, she can be built into a pure stall defense or a bruiser defense. So a pure stall, one of the Guardian 3 example, which I also fought in my Arena Rush Hour video, was Chloe Freya double arena. Super annoying, especially Freya on high resistance. And if you watch my video, I lost to him once because my Zarus couldn't reset that Freya. And people would often skip you just because they think it will just take way too long, especially if they don't have something to kill this Rina. Being Tasha is very good. See, personally, I have a Tasha and I'm very happy to fight these kind of comps. But if you don't have some sort of wing units, they will definitely skip this sort of pure stall defense. And second is Bruiser plus Freya, which is my favorite. There is a guy running Water Panda, Freya, Double Beast Monk being Wind and Fire in Guardian 3, and it's just so scary because his Freya is also built with my personal favorite build, which is one set of Will plus a Double Enhance. Double Enhance will provide everyone on your team with 14% extra HP. So that's very tanky, especially if you have a 33% HP leader being Veramos or Water Panda in this case. And you want to build Freya with 100% resistance. In my opinion, this is the best way. You want her to die right away. You don't want her to live, because if she lives, the rest of your team may die when the second opponent nuker moves. So that's my personal favorite build. Of course, people like to build her different ways. People sometimes build her Despair, so she can provide some sort of utility if she lives. Or people like to build her on Swift because her second AoE actually buff everyone's speed attack bar, and it can be can surprise your opponent when your Freya move first and make everyone to move ahead of him. But in my opinion still, I made a very stupid mistake. I 6-star my Freya. Please don't 6-star your Freya. I think it's a waste of resource and it's actually make her less useful. I'm looking to get another Freya and just keep her 4-star, build her flat stats on everything, but give her 100% resistance. I think that's the best way. Okay, so secondly, we move to Fire Leech. Reason he can be scary on defense, especially during rush hour, is because he's passive. Have a look. I'm not going to go through it here, but he has a 15% chance to gain a turn whenever an enemy unit moves, or whenever an enemy gains a turn. So basically, he can randomly move in between your units and screw up your attack sequence. So the standard team comp for Fire Leech is another threat, preferably with a built-in armor break like a Wind Monkey King lead Fire Leech. Then you have 2 support like a Water Archangel or Molly or Beta or just anything, or Chisu, something that you can heal. And personal favorite build with Fire Leech, you want to make him tanky so he can survive longer, he can steal more turns, extend those annoying animation. He has a built-in slow. You want him to hit more often. Despair, Revenge, HP crit damage, HP. Okay, with attack and speed subs. Okay, lastly, I'm going to talk about M-Duet, which is Dark Horus. I really want one, but I have really bad luck with Light Dark Scrolls. Basically, if you have an M-Duet, very lucky, you want to speed sync him with your Stripper, being Praha, Juno, whatever. Basically, you want him to move straight after your Stripper strips the opponent's will runes. So ideally, I don't own one, so I haven't tested out. I heard you want him to be plus 110 to plus 120 speed on Despair, and he is a very strong counter to Tiana teams. Reason being, Tiana is going to remove the opponent's will runes, and he's gonna gain attack bar after the opponent's moves, and then he's gonna cut in between Tiana and Galleon, or even the opponent's Galleon moves. He's gonna cut in between Galleon and the opponent's nukers and either stun or slow or reduce the attack bar of random units and screw up your attack sequence. And also, he's very good against Bernard Lucian, Bernard Megan double Lucian if your Lucian doesn't have will runes. But if your Lucian have will runes, then you can easily beat him if he doesn't have very strong fire team in the team. So that's pretty much 3 gimmicky units. If you have them, try them out. It's really fun to play with. I think I am going to rebuild my Freya and going to give her a go in maybe next week's arena rush hour and see how we go. So basically, that's the end of the video. So good luck everyone. Have fun on root removal day. But remember, every arena defense is beatable. So just try and make it as fast as you can, as annoying as you can, and hope you learn something with my video. Hope you don't find it so boring without any gameplay, and I will see all of you guys in my next video. Bye.